The front door slammed open like a gunshot in the dead of night, shattering the fragile peace of the old Victorian house on Elm Street in suburban Chicago. Nicholas Harlan, badge still clipped to his belt after a brutal 12-hour shift chasing shadows in the Windy City's underbelly, froze mid-step, his service revolver heavy in its holster. There, tangled in the glow of the living room lamp, was his son, his only son, Alexander, locked in an embrace with another boy that twisted Nicholas's world into a nightmare he couldn't wake from. "What in God's name is this?" Nicholas's voice cracked like dry thunder, low and lethal, the words hanging in the air like smoke from a fresh kill. Alexander jerked back, his green eyes wide with terror. The boy beneath him, Ethan, with his messy brown hair and freckled cheeks, scrambling to pull down his shirt, both of them flushed and exposed under the merciless light. Nicholas Harlan had always been the rock, the unbreakable pillar in a family fractured by loss. 48, with salt and pepper hair cropped military short and a jawline etched from years of grit and grind on the force, he was the kind of cop who commanded respect without raising his voice. Born and raised in the steel-shadowed sprawl of Southside Chicago, he clawed his way up from beat cop to detective sergeant, collaring dealers in back alleys and talking down jumpers from fire escapes. His wife, Sarah, had been his anchor until the cancer took her 5 years back, leaving him and Alex to navigate the wreckage alone. Alex, Alexander James Harlan, 17 and already taller than his old man at 6'2", was the spitting image of Nicholas in his youth. Broad shoulders from wrestling in high school, that same mop of dark hair now falling rebelliously over his forehead, and eyes like emeralds cracked with secrets. They'd been thick as thieves, father and son, ever since Sarah's funeral. Nicholas had buried his grief in double shifts, teaching Alex to throw a curveball in the backyard lot, grilling burgers on the 4th of July while fireworks lit the Illinois sky, whispering stories of his own wild teenage escapades to make the kid laugh through the pain. "We're Harlans," he'd say, clapping a calloused hand on Alex's shoulder. "We don't bend. We break the world before it breaks us." But lately, cracks had spiderwebbed through that foundation. Alex had grown quiet, retreating to his room with headphones clamped on, sketching in notebooks he hid under his mattress like contraband. Nicholas chalked it up to senior year stress, college apps piling up, the pressure of legacy weighing heavy. Hell, he'd been the same at that age, dodging his own old man's belt while dreaming of the badge. So when Alex started hanging with that new kid from art class, Ethan Riley, Nicholas didn't think twice. Ethan seemed harmless enough. Lanky, with a quick smile and a sketchpad always tucked under his arm. The type who volunteered at the local shelter and quoted indie bands Nicholas pretended to know. They'd bonded over video games in the basement, Alex's laughter echoing up the stairs for the first time in months. Good for the kid, Nicholas thought. Balance in the chaos. That illusion shattered on a muggy August evening, the kind where the air clung like regret. Nicholas had wrapped his shift early for once. A domestic call gone south. A wife with bruises blooming like ink under her sleeves, reminding him too much of Sarah's final days. He'd texted Alex on the way home, grabbing pizza. "Your pick." No reply. The house was dark when he pulled into the driveway, the old Ford pickup crunching gravel under tires worn from too many pursuits. He fumbled keys at the door, the weight of the day sloughing off his shoulders, eager for that rare slice of normalcy. Then the slam. The freeze. The words that clawed out of him unbidden. Alex bolted upright, his face draining of color, the couch springs groaning under the sudden shift. Ethan, heart pounding visible through his thin t-shirt, whispered, "Shit, Alex, you're Dad." But Alex was already moving, hands up like he was surrendering to a loaded gun. "Dad, wait. It's not." "Not what?" Nicholas's voice was a whip crack now, echoing off the walls lined with framed photos. Alex at 5, gap-toothed grin on a fishing trip to Lake Michigan. The three of them at Christmas. Sarah's frail hand on a gift-wrapped box. Nicholas in dress blues at his promotion, badge gleaming like a promise. The irony burned. Jesus Christ. Alex. Tell me I'm seeing things. Tell me this is some kind of joke. It's not a joke, Dad. Alex's voice trembled, but there was steel in it, the kind Nicholas had forged in him over backyard barbecues and late-night talks about standing tall. He stepped forward, placing himself between Nicholas and Ethan, who hovered like a ghost, eyes darting to the door. "Ethan's my boyfriend. We've been together for months." The word hit Nicholas like a hollow point round to the chest. Boyfriend. Not girl. Not some sweet cheerleader with pigtails and dreams of prom. His son, his blood, his legacy, curled up with another boy, lips bruised from kisses that twisted everything Nicholas held sacred. The room spun, the pizza box slipping from his numb fingers to the hardwood floor with a wet thud, cheese strings stretching like accusations. "Get out," Nicholas growled, not looking at Ethan, his gaze locked on Alex like he was seeing a stranger. "Both of you. Now, Dad. Please." Alex reached out, but Nicholas flinched back, the motion instinctive, trained from years of sizing up threats in dimly lit interrogation rooms. "Out." The roar filled the house, rattling the windows. Ethan grabbed his hoodie from the armrest, mumbling apologies as he bolted for the door, the screen slamming behind him like a final punctuation. Alex stood there, chest heaving, tears carving tracks down his cheeks, but Nicholas wouldn't meet his eyes. The silence stretched, thick and suffocating, broken only by the distant wail of sirens from the city beyond. Upstairs, Alex slammed his bedroom door, the lock clicking with a finality that echoed in Nicholas's hollowed-out chest. He sank onto the couch, the spot still warm from their bodies, and buried his face in his hands. The badge on his belt dug into his thigh, a cold reminder of the oaths he'd sworn, to protect, to serve, to uphold the law. But this betrayal cut deeper than any perp's knife. His son, gay. The word tasted like ash. How had he missed it? All those signs, the withdrawn silences, the posters of brooding musicians, the way Alex's gaze lingered a beat too long on the lifeguards at the community pool last summer. Nicholas had been blind, too wrapped in his own war with the streets to see the battle raging under his own roof. He poured a tumbler of bourbon from the sideboard, the amber liquid burning a path to his gut. Sarah would know what to say, her soft southern lilt cutting through the fog like sunlight. "Love him anyway, Nick. He's your heart walking around outside your body." But Sarah was gone, and Nicholas was left with the fragments. He thought of his own father, a steelworker with fists like hammers, who'd disowned his brother for coming out in the 70s. Family legend whispered of a Christmas dinner turned brawl, blood on the linoleum. "Not my boy," Nicholas vowed, slamming the glass down. "I'll fix this. Make him see sense." But as the clock ticked past midnight, the house groaning like an old man with regrets, Nicholas Harlan didn't sleep. He sat in the dark, replaying the scene in loops, the shock hardening into something sharper, resolve, laced with fear. Tomorrow, he'd talk to Alex. Lay down the law. Save his son from this mistake. Because Harlan's didn't bend. And Nicholas sure as hell wasn't about to let the world break his. Morning broke gray and drizzly over the Harlan bungalow, the kind of Chicago autumn that seeped into your bones. Nicholas dragged himself to the kitchen, coffee brewing black as his mood, the percolator hissing like a confession. Alex's door remained shut, a silent barricade. School started in an hour Lincoln High, with its red brick facade and echoing halls where Nicholas had once walked as a quarterback hero. He banged on the doorframe. "Alex, we're talking." "Now." No answer. Nicholas pushed in. The room a teenage war zone. Posters of indie bands peeling at the edges. Sketchbooks splayed open to charcoal drawings of intertwined figures. Men. He realized with a lurch. Their forms fluid and intimate. Clothes strewn like casualties. A rainbow pin glinting from the corkboard like a taunt. Alex huddled under the covers. Back turned. Shoulders rigid. "Son." Nicholas's voice softened, edged with the plea he hated himself for. "Last night. That wasn't you. You're confused. Hormones. Stress. Hell, maybe that kid's got you twisted up. But we can fix it. Therapy. Church groups. I've got buddies on the force with connections." Alex whipped around, eyes red-rimmed but fierce. "Fix me? Like I'm broken? Dad, I'm gay. It's not a phase. It's me." He sat up, clutching the blanket like armor. "Ethan's the best thing that's happened to me since Mom died. He sees me, Dad. All of me." Nicholas recoiled, the words landing like blows. "Sees you?" That boy was pawing at you like some kind of animal. "In my house." His hands balled into fists, the cop in him rising to cuff the chaos. "What about the future? College scouts sniffing around for that wrestling scholarship. They find out. It's over. And me, walking into roll call with whispers behind my back? Harlan's kid's a fag. You think I raised you for that?" The slur slipped out, ugly and unbidden, hanging between them like exhaust fumes. Alex's face crumpled, then hardened. "You just said it. That's what you think of me now? A disappointment?" He stood, towering over Nicholas for the first time, voice cracking with 17 years of bottled hurt. "Mom would have loved Ethan. She would have hugged me and said it was okay. But you're too busy playing hero to be a dad." Nicholas staggered back, the room tilting. Sarah's voice echoed in his skull. "Love him anyway." But love felt like surrender, and Nicholas Harlan didn't know how to yield. "Get to school," he muttered, turning away. "We'll talk later. When you're thinking straight." Alex shoved past him, backpack slung over one shoulder, the door slamming downstairs like a gavel. Nicholas collapsed onto the bed, head in hands, the bourbon from last night souring in his veins. The precinct awaited, another day of chases and collars, but his mind was a crime scene, taped off and swarming with questions. How deep did this go? Friends? Teachers? God? The neighbors? He flashed to the block watch meetings. Mrs. Kowalski with her prying eyes and gossip mill tongue. Exposure wasn't just personal. It was professional suicide in a department still thick with old-school machismo. At the station, the bullpen buzzed with fluorescent hum and stale coffee. Nicholas clocked in, nodding at Ramirez, his partner of a decade, a burly Latino with a mustache like a broom bristle. "Rough night, Chief? You look like you wrestled a ghost." "Something like that," Nicholas grunted, flipping open case files on a string of smash-and-grabs downtown. But focus eluded him, eyes glazing over reports. Lunch break found him in the locker room, staring at his reflection in the dented metal door, crow's feet deepening, badge tarnished from neglect. He dialed Father O'Malley at St. Mary's, the priest who'd buried Sarah and baptized Alex. "Father, it's Nick Harlan. Need some advice." "Family stuff." O'Malley's voice was gravel-warm over the line. "Nicholas, my boy. The Lord's got a plan, even in the storms. Come by confession tonight." Confession. The word mocked him. What sins to unburden? Pride? Fear? The ugly word he'd spat at his own flesh and blood? Nicholas hung up, resolve cracking. By shift's end, he swung by the high school, parking across from the bleachers where wrestlers drilled under Coach Riley, Ethan's uncle. Irony's cruel hook. There was Alex, pinning an opponent with effortless grace, sweat gleaming on his skin. But his eyes, distant, haunted, locked on Nicholas through the chain-link fence. Their stares held, father and son across the divide, the world narrowing to that electric wire. Then Alex turned away, vanishing into the locker room, leaving Nicholas adrift in the lot, rain pattering on the windshield like unshed tears. The stunned silence of last night had fractured into a roar, and Nicholas wondered, not for the first time, if the real criminal was the one staring back from the rearview. Ethan Riley had crashed into Alexander Harlan's life like a rogue wave on Lake Michigan. Sudden, exhilarating, and impossible to outrun. It started in AP Art last spring, when Ethan, the transfer from Portland with his thrift store flannels and ironic tattoos, sketched a portrait of Alex during a still life drill. "Dude, you've got cheekbones like a Renaissance angel," he'd said, sliding the paper over with a grin that lit up the sterile classroom. Alex had blushed, crumpling the edges, but kept it folded in his wallet like a talisman. In a school where jocks ruled and whispers could bury you, Ethan's unapologetic vibe was oxygen. They'd fallen fast, stolen moments in the art supply closet, fingers brushing over paintbrushes, first kisses tasting of turpentine and possibility. Ethan was out, proudly so, with a pride flag keychain and a coming-out story that involved his progressive aunt and a family barbecue turned group hug. "It's not about courage," he'd told Alex one night, sprawled on the Harlan basement couch during a Marvel marathon. "It's about claiming your space. You're epic, Lex. Own it." But owning it meant risking everything. Alex's world was a tightrope, Nicholas's expectations, the wrestling team's bro code, the ghost of Sarah hovering in every decision. He'd hidden the notebooks, the playlists of queer anthems, the way his heart stuttered when Ethan texted a heart emoji. Last night had been a slip, a heated make-out session escalating because Nicholas was supposed to be on graveyard shift. Now, the fallout crashed over him like a riptide. At school, Alex ghosted through the halls, hoodie pulled low. Ignoring the buzz from his phone, Ethan's frantic texts, "Are you okay? Your dad looked murderous. Call me." Lunch found him in the library, buried in a corner Corel, sketching furiously, Nicholas's face, badge askew, eyes hollow with betrayal. The lines bled together, charcoal smudging his fingers black as guilt. "Lex," Ethan's voice pulled him up, soft as a secret. He slid into the seat opposite, concern etching his freckled face. Talk to me. I biked over from the community center, skipped my shift. Alex's throat tightened. He hates me, Ethan. Called me. You know, the slur burned fresh. A brand. I can't go home. What if he locks me out? Or worse, drags me to some conversion camp? Ethan's hand found his across the table, thumb tracing circles on Alex's knuckles. He won't. Your dad's a cop, not a monster. Shock's gotta wear off, but his eyes flickered with doubt, the romantic in him warring with reality. They dreamed big, road trip to San Francisco after graduation, rainbow flags waving from a beat-up VW, freedom in the fog. Now it felt like fool's gold. Promise you'll fight for us? Alex whispered, voice small in the vast quiet of the stacks. Ethan leaned in, breath warm against his ear. Till the stars burn out. Babe. Their lips brushed. Chaste and desperate. A vow sealed in library dust. Across town, Nicholas pounded pavement on a foot patrol, the rain-slick streets mirroring his turmoil. Ramirez ribbed him over radio chatter. Harlan, you zoning on that broad from Vice. But Nicholas's mind looped on Alex's face, that defiant spark so like Sarah's. Confession at St. Mary's that evening was a blur. O'Malley in the booth, absolving sins Nicholas couldn't name. The boy is your cross, Nicholas. But love is the hammer that shapes it. Remember Leviticus, but don't forget the gospel, mercy over judgment. Mercy. The word stuck like burrs. Driving home, Nicholas detoured to the Rylas place, a tidy craftsman on the edge of the Polish district, porch swing creaking in the wind. Ethan's aunt, Carla, answered the bell. Her nurse's scrubs rumpled, as sharp as scalpels. Detective Harlan. To what do I owe? Is Ethan here? Nicholas's tone was clipped, badge a silent threat. Carla's brow arched. Out. Something about your boy. She crossed arms, blocking the threshold. Look, Nick, I've known Sarah since nursing school. If this is about last night, tread light. Kids like them, they need wings, not cages. Wings. Nicholas's jaw ticked. With all due respect, ma'am, that's my son. My family, and Ethan's mine. Her voice softened, edged with steel. Gay kids in this town, they jump bridges or swallow pills. You gonna be the reason Alex stats up? The words landed like a gut punch. Visions of jumpers from his beat flashing. Kids with notes in their pockets. Secrets too heavy to carry. Nicholas backed off the porch, mumbling thanks. The drive home a haze. The house loomed empty. Alex's sneakers gone from the mat. Panic clawed up, runaway? Crash at a friend's? He dialed the cell voicemail. Dad, if you're hearing this, I'm safe. Need space. Love you anyway. Love you anyway. The echo of Sarah. Nicholas raided the fridge, cracking a beer instead of bourbon, sinking into her old armchair by the window. The neighborhood slumbered under sodium lamps, leaves skittering like fleeing thoughts. He pulled out his service album, flipping to faded Polaroids. Alex as a toddler, perched on Nicholas's shoulders at a Cubs game, Wrigley Field roaring behind them. Sarah beside, radiant, hand on her belly, Alex's origin story. How had they gotten here? From bleacher cheers to bedroom wars? Midnight brought a knock, soft, hesitant. Nicholas yanked the door, heart slamming. Ethan stood there, soaked from the drizzle, backpack slung low. Mr. Harlan. Can we talk? About Alex. Nicholas's hand tightened on the knob, every instinct screaming perp. But Ethan's eyes, open, unafraid, held no guile. 5 minutes, he allowed, stepping aside. They settled at the kitchen table, scarred oak witness to 1,000 family meals. Ethan fidgeted, fingers tracing grain like braille. I love him, sir. Not some phase. He's everything. Funny, kind, draws like Da Vinci on steroids. When his mom died, he built walls. I got through 'em. Please don't tear that down, love. The word again, weaponized. Nicholas leaned forward, elbows on knees, cop stare boring in. You get what this does to him? To us? Small town embedded in a big city. Gossip spreads like flu. Teammates razz him. Scouts bail. And me? I'm the punchline at precinct barbecues. Ethan met his gaze. Steady. Then be the hero he needs. Not the cop. The dad. He slid a sketch across the table. Alex's face, captured in pencil strokes, laughing under summer sun. This is him. Free. You want that back? Nicholas's throat closed, the image blurring. He nodded Ethan out, the door clicking shut like a chambered round. Alone, he traced the lines, his son's joy, unshadowed. Sleep evaded, dreams fracturing into Sarah's voice. Mercy, Nick. Mercy. Dawn painted the sky bruise purple when Alex slipped in, backpack thumping to the floor. Nicholas was at the stove, pancakes sizzling, Sarah's recipe, a white flag. Sit, he said, plating stacks high as hope. Alex hesitated, then obeyed, the silence chewy with unspoken barbs. I'm sorry, Nicholas started, fork scraping porcelain. For what I said. The word is poison. From my old man, his old man cycle of shit. But you're no disappointment, Alex. You're my world. Alex's fork trembled. Then accept me. All of me. Ethan too. Nicholas swallowed hard, the concession bitter as black coffee. I'm trying, son. New. Scary. But yeah. We'll figure it. Together. Relief flooded Alex's face, tentative smile breaking through. They ate in quiet accord, father and son rebuilding bridges over breakfast grease. But as Alex headed to school, backpack zipped with Ethan's sketch inside, Nicholas's phone buzzed. A text from Ramirez. Heard about the kid. Rough. Beers later, the stunned silence returned. Colder now. Word was out. How? The precinct grapevine. Faster than light. Nicholas pocketed the phone. Dread pooling. The reaction he'd feared wasn't just his. It was the world's, crashing in like a raid. The leak spread like spilled ink on blotter paper, staining everything it touched. By afternoon, Nicholas's precinct inbox overflowed with sidelong glances and supportive pats on the back that landed like condolences. Captain Ellis called him into the glass-walled office overlooking the bullpen, the city skyline a jagged tease beyond. Harlan. Sit. Ramirez mentioned. Family matters. You good? Nicholas perched on the edge of the chair. Spine ramrod. Solid. Cap. Just a bump. Ellis, a grizzled vet with a mustache like steel wool, nodded slow. Bumps can derail. Department's got resources, counseling, that pride liaison from downtown. But off-record, this town's old school. Watch your six. The implication hung. Promotion whispers on hold. Partnerships strained. Nicholas clocked out early, the badge heavier than lead. Home was a minefield. Alex burst through the door post-practice, euphoria from their morning truce lighting his face, until he clocked Nicholas's thundercloud expression. What now? Words out at work. Nicholas paced the kitchen, linoleum squeaking under boots. Someone blabbed. Probably that Riley kid, loose lips. Alex's eyes flashed. Ethan? He wouldn't. And even if it's not a crime. Dad, I'm not hiding anymore. Not hiding. Nicholas halted, voice rising. This ain't Portland, son. It's Chicago South Side realness. You think the team's gonna high-five you? Or those scouts calling about Iowa State? The betrayal stung fresh. Alex's walls slamming up. So this morning was bullshit? Your trying has an expiration date. He grabbed his keys, storming for the door. I'm out. With Ethan. Don't wait up. Alexander James. But the door slammed, taillights fading down Elm. Nicholas deflated, slumping at the table, Sarah's chair empty accusation. He'd promised mercy, but fear had claws. Dialing Ethan got voicemail. A frantic text to Alex went unread. Hours blurred into bourbon haze, the house echoing with ghosts. Meanwhile, Alex and Ethan fled to the lakefront, the drive's curve hugging Lake Michigan's restless edge. They parked the old Civic, Ethan's aunt's hand-me-down, under sodium glow, waves crashing like applause. Ethan pulled Alex close on the hood, blanket from the trunk warding off chill. Your dad's scared, Lex. Not of you, of losing the script. Alex leaned into him, head on shoulder, the rhythm of water soothing jagged edges. He promised. Then bails at the first pushback. Tears welled, hot and unbidden. What if he never gets it? What if I lose him too? Ethan tilted his chin up, kiss soft as mist. You won't. And if he can't see how fucking luminous you are. His voice trailed, hands roaming gentle, reigniting embers from last night's interruption. They made love under stars pricked like promises, bodies sinking in the salt air, slow, reverent, a rebellion wrapped in tenderness. Afterward, tangled in the blanket, Ethan whispered dreams. Art school in New York, galleries showcasing Alex's sketches, a life unapologetic. But dawn brought reality's bite. Ethan's phone lit with texts from Carla. Cops at the house. Your uncle's pissed. Something about Harlan stirring shit. Panic surged. Lex, my aunt says your dad's been calling around. Asking questions like you're a suspect. Alex's blood iced. Betrayal, sharp as a shank. Nicholas, the protector, turning informant, they raced back, the Civic fishtailing on wet leaves. The Harlan porch light blazed like an interrogation bulb. Carla's Prius idled curbside. Inside, voices clashed. Nicholas's baritone thunder, Carla's scalpel slice. You had no right grilling my family, Carla snapped, arms akimbo in the foyer. Ethan hovered behind, face ashen. Nicholas loomed. I ask you. Protecting my kid. That boy's got him skipping school. God knows what else. Enough. Alex shoved through, eyes locked on his father. You called them? Went behind my back? After everything. Nicholas deflated. Hands up. Alex. I thought he was trouble. Influence. For your sake. My sake? Alex's laugh was bitter glass. Or yours? Afraid the badge'll tarnish. He turned to Ethan, voice breaking. Pack a bag. I'm staying with you tonight. Son. Nicholas reached, but Alex recoiled, the chasm widening. Carla herded them out, a maternal shield. Nick, sleep on it. Before you lose him for good. The door clicked shut, sealing the fracture. At the Rylas, the guest room was a sanctuary, quilts soft, walls papered in Ethan's abstracts. Alex curled into him, sobs muffled in flannel. He betrayed me, Ethan. Like I'm the perp, not the kid. Ethan held tight, rocking gentle. We'll weather it. You're my North Star. Their night unfolded in whispers and caresses. Love a bomb against the storm. Passionate, unhurried, bodies mapping forgiveness. But dawn's light revealed the cost. A text from Coach Riley, Ethan's uncle, team meeting. Harlan rumors flying. Keep your head down, kid. School was a gauntlet. Whispers slithered through lockers. Harlan's queer. No shit. Wrestling practice turned hostile. Towel snaps laced with slurs. Teammates averting eyes. Alex powered through takedowns. Muscles screaming. But the real pain was isolation's bite. Ethan waited by the gym doors. Sketchpad shield. But even their clasped hands drew stares. Post-drill. Coach pulled Alex aside. Meaty hand on shoulder. Heard from your old man. Tough spot. But team's family, sorta. Dial it back. Yeah. Scouts incoming Friday. Betrayal's echo. Nicholas. Meddling again? Alex nodded numb. Fleeing to the art room. Ethan found him there. Charcoal smeared and shattered. Fuck the team. Fuck the scouts. We leave now, Chicago's too small. Temptation tugged. But roots ran deep. Can't ditch Dad. Not yet. Their embrace was fierce. Lips crashing in defiant heat. Art tables rattling. Romance's fire. Stoked by adversity. But fragility lurked. Evening brought confrontations crescendo. Nicholas showed at the Rylas. Hat in hands. Rain dripping like penance. Carla let him in. Eyes wary. 5 minutes. Make 'em count. Alex met him in the living room. Ethan a silent sentinel. Nicholas's face was haggard. Stubble silvered. I screwed up, son. Bad. Called around 'cause I panicked. Thought I was saving you. But I'm the villain here. Voice cracked. Sarah, kick my ass. Come home. Please. Alex's heart warred. Love's pull. Hurt's push. Home? Where you interrogate my life. No. Not till you get it, really get it. Nicholas nodded. Slow defeat. Fair. But I'm trying. Therapy tomorrow solo. And meeting with the precinct's LGBTQ rep. For real. The olive branch trembled. Alex glanced at Ethan, who nodded subtle. 1 week. Prove it. Relief washed Nicholas's features. Deal. He hugged Alex fierce. The embrace awkward but earnest. Father's arms. Cop's grip. Cracking open. But as Nicholas drove off, phone buzzed. Anonymous tip line. Harlan's kid trouble. Check his circle. Paranoia seated. Who? A teammate? Rival? The stunned discovery of last night paled against this web of shadows. Across town, in a dive bar off division, Ramirez nursed a pint, eyes on Nicholas's empty stool. Boss man's cracking, he muttered to a shadow in the booth, a wrestling dad, face twisted with old prejudices. The leak wasn't accident. It was sabotage, betrayal's deeper cut. The week stretched like a suspect under hot lights, interminations of hope and suspicion, each day a probe deeper into fractures. Nicholas threw himself into the grind. Mandatory therapy with Dr. Young, a no-nonsense shrink with wire rims and a Chicago accent thick as deep dish. Repression's a loaded gun. Detective, she'd say, notepad flipping. Your son's not the bullet. You are. Sessions unearthed ghosts. His uncle's exile. The department locker room jokes that hid Nicholas's own buried questions from youth. Crushes on teammates dismissed as bro stuff. Vulnerability chafed. But for Alex, he'd bleed. At home, the house echoed empty. Alex's absence a vacuum sucking air from rooms. Nicholas cooked for one, dishes piling like regrets, flipping channels to avoid news of rising hate crimes, gay bashings in Boys Town, a stark reminder of streets he'd sworn to patrol. He attended the precinct's ally training, sandwiched between skeptical vets and eager rookies, absorbing terms like affirmation and intersectionality like case law. Ramirez clapped his back post-session. Proud of ya, Chief. But watch the wolves. Some badges don't shine equal. Alex bunked at the Rylus, navigated his own minefield. Mornings started with Ethan's coffee and kisses, domestic bliss in borrowed space. Pancakes flipped with flour-dusted laughs, sketches traded like love notes. But school soured it. Graffiti in the bathroom stalls, Harlan fag. Teammates icing him out. Coaches tough love, benching him for the scout meet. Protecting the program, coach grunted. But his eyes darted guilty, whispers of pressure from boosters. Nicholas's name invoked like a curse. Ethan became anchor, skipping lunches to huddle in the art room, their world shrinking to stolen touches and whispered plans. New York's waiting, he'd murmur, fingers interlacing under desks. MoMA internships. Your wrestling morphs to MMA. Us against the skyline. Romance bloomed defiant. A clandestine date at the Art Institute. Wandering impressionist halls hand in hidden hand. Monet's lilies mirroring their fragile bloom. In a shadowed corner by Hopper's Nighthawks, they kissed slow. Museum hush amplifying heartbeats, emotional tether in chaos. But betrayal's shadow lengthened. Friday's scout scrimmage arrived under floodlights, gym humming with scouts in polos, clipboards poised. Alex dominated warm-ups, pins crisp, but midway, a teammate, Tyler, beefy linebacker with a grudge from last year's regionals, tripped, elbow cracking Alex's jaw in a blur of malice. Blood welled, metallic tang. Refs halted, medics swarmed. Freak accident, Tyler muttered, but his smirk screamed intent. Ethan burst from the bleachers, shoving through, face pale. Lex, chaos erupted, scouts murmuring exits, coach yelling timeouts. Nicholas, tipped off by a gut hunch, arrived siren silent, badge flashing to clear the fray. He knelt by Alex on the mat, ice pack pressed gentle, eyes wet. Son Jesus. Hospital, Alex winced, spitting pink. Just a bruise. Tyler's fault. Nicholas's jaw set, cop mode engaging. Got it on vid. He'll pay. But as EMTs loaded Alex, a scout lingered, card proffered hesitant. Kid's got talent. But optics. The word ignited. At the ER, sterile white, beeps sinking dread. Nicholas paced while stitches closed the gash. Ethan arrived with Carla, hands squeezing Alex's. Who ratted? Alex rasped, painkillers fuzzing edges. Nicholas halted, confession heavy. Me. Told coach to watch your back. Didn't think it'd boomerang. Betrayal's apex. Alex's eyes shuddered. You did this? For optics? Voice rose. Monitors beeping frantic. Get out. All of you. Ethan protested. But Nicholas fled the room. Corridors blurring. Outside, rain lashed the lot. Wipers slashing like accusations. He called Ramirez. Unofficial. Kid Tyler, dig dirt. This stinks setup. Ramirez's reply crackled. On it. Heard whispers, some dad's got a beef. Wrestling circuits dirty as vice. Home alone. Nicholas unraveled files on the kitchen table, scout reports. Team rosters. Anonymous tips traced to burners. Patterns emerged. Tyler's father, Big Mike, a precinct informant with a homophobe streak, owed favors from a dismissed assault charge. The leak, the calls, the accident, orchestrated to kneecap Nicholas's career via his son. Fury boiled, but grief tempered it. He drove to the Rylus under cover of night, knocking soft. Carla answered, robe clutched. He's sleeping. Bad shape. I know. Nicholas's voice raw. Let me see him. Please. Upstairs. Alex stirred under lamplight, jaw bandaged. Ethan dozing beside. Dad. Distrust laced the word. Nicholas sat bed's edge, hands folded like prayer. I fucked up. Again. But this, the elbow, is bigger. Someone's gunning, using you to hit me. He spilled it. The web. Mike's grudge from a botched tip years back. When Nicholas busted his chop shop side hustle. Not excusing me. But I'm ending it. For us. Alex searched his face. Walls cracking. Why now? Tired of the stares? No. Nicholas cupped his unbruised cheek. Thumb gentle. Scared of losing you. Like Sarah. Tears tracked free, first in years. You're gay. Alex. And brilliant. Brave. I see it now. Love Ethan. Hell. Invite him for dinner. But let me protect you right this time. The dam broke. Alex pulled him into hug. Sobs shared. Ethan's eyes fluttering open to witness. Okay. Dad. Home tomorrow. Relief surged. But dawn brought reckoning. Nicholas hauled Tyler and Big Mike to the station. Warrants swift on tampering evidence. Interrogation room. Mike sweated under lights. Tyler crumbling. Just a message. Detective. Your kids. Unnatural. Ruining the team. Nicholas leaned in. Voice ice. My kid's a Harlan. Assault. Conspiracy. Book M. Charges stuck. Badges gleamed on perp's cuffs. Word rocketed. Harlan's takedown. A father's fierce shield for his gay son. Precinct shifted. Claps in the bullpen. Ellis greenlighting that promotion. But the real victory unfolded at homecoming dance. Jim strung with lights. Alex, jaw-healing handsome, slow danced with Ethan under disco ball rain. Nicholas watching from bleachers. Ramirez beside, beer in hand. 'Bout time. Jeef. Yeah. Nicholas murmured, pride swelling. Romances bloom. Witnessed. Yet climax loomed. That night, anonymous call Harlan. Your boy's next. Boys Town. Midnight. Panic clawed. Bait? Trap? Nicholas mobilized. But Alex, overhearing, bolted. Handle my life? No more. The chase ignited. Father pursuing son through neon veins. Betrayal's final twist. Midnight in Boys Town pulsed like a fever dream. Neon signs bleeding pink and blue into rain-slick pavement. Bars spilling laughter and bass into the night. Alex had slipped Nicholas's watch, hailing a cab from the dance. Ethan's warnings ringing hollow against adrenaline's roar. I'm done being the victim, he'd texted. Coordinates pinned to a dive called the Blue Moon. Ethan tailed in the Civic, heart hammering, but traffic snarled, leaving Alex solo in the throng. The call had been a ghost, distorted voice, Mike's cronies implied. Alex entered the bar defiant, rainbow flag fluttering from his jacket zipper, ordering a soda at the Scarred Oak. Eyes turned curious, kind, a drag queen in sequins winking approval. Fresh meat. Honey, own that strut. For a heartbeat, freedom tasted sweet. Bodies swaying unashamed, anthems thumping queer joy. Then shadows shifted. Two bruisers, Tyler's orbit, faces familiar from bleachers, flanked him at the pool table, cues like threats. Harlan. Daddy can't save you here. Fists flew before Alex could pivot, jaw reigniting, ribs cracking under boot. He fought wild, wrestling instincts fueling haymakers, but numbers overwhelmed. Tumbled to alley grime behind the bar, rain mixing blood. A knife glinted, final betrayal's edge. Across town, Nicholas tore through streets, sirens silent, Ramirez riding shotgun. Got a bead, dispatch chatter on a brawl. Tires screeched into Boys Town, gut leading to the Blue Moon. Chaos greeted, bar patrons spilling out, Queen dialing 911. Allie, queer kid now. Nicholas bolted, badge forgotten, Ramirez covering. The scene seared. Alex crumpled against dumpsters, assailants looming, blade raised. Police, drop it, roar primal. Nicholas tackled the knife wielder, fists methodical, years of training unleashing in protective fury. Ramirez cuffed the second, zip ties biting. Alex stirred, vision swimming. Dad? Easy, son. Nicholas cradled him, jacket staunching wounds, voice breaking. Ambulance coming. You fought good. Sirens wailed convergence. Ethan screeched up, leaping from the car to Alex's side, hands trembling. Lex God. No, their fingers laced. Love's grip unyielding amid medic's bustle. Hospital vigil blurred. Stitches, scans, pain meds dulling edges. Nicholas paced waiting room, knuckles bruised. Ramirez filing reports. Mike's crew sang like birds. Full conspiracy. Charges mounted. Hate crime enhancements. Federal eyes turning. Dawn found father, son, boyfriend in the room, machines beeping truce. You came, Alex rasped. IV'd arm reaching. Always, Nicholas sat. Ethan opposite. Triangle of mending. Scared me worse than any collar. You're my hero, kid. Guts like your mom. Tears welled. Love you, Dad. Sorry for running. Love you more. And Ethan, welcome to the madhouse. Gruff handshake. Genuine. Dinner Sunday. My meatloaf sucks, but it's tradition. Ethan grinned watery. Deal, Mr. Harlan. Recovery wove slow. Alex homebound. Crutches clicking domestic rhythm. Nicholas took leave, trading shifts for bedside vigils, reading Vonnegut aloud, debating art versus athletics. Ethan visited daily, sketchpad in tow, capturing Alex's healing bruises in heroic light. Romance deepened. Stolen kisses when Nicholas napped, plans for NYU dual enrollment, wrestling scholarships pivoting to inclusive programs. Community rippled. Mary's hosted a pride talk, O'Malley preaching inclusion, Precinct barbecue flew rainbow cupcakes, Ellis toasting Harlan Strong. Big Mike's trial loomed, justice's hammer, but healing outpaced vengeance. Winter blanketed Chicago in white, Lake Michigan icing at the edges. Christmas Eve. The Harlan house glowed, tree strung with Sarah's ornaments, fire crackling. Alex and Ethan arrived arm in arm, pie from Carla in hand. Dinner unfolded. Laughter over lumpy gravy. Stories of Sarah's carols. Nicholas raising glass. To family. Blood and chosen. Glasses clinked. Eyes met. Forgiveness sealed. Post-feast. Alex pulled Nicholas to the porch. Snowflakes dancing. Thanks, Dad. For the stunned part, the good kind, Nicholas chuckled, arm around shoulders. Stunned, speechless. More like, but yeah. Wouldn't trade it. Inside, Ethan and Alex swayed to carols. Bodies close, future unfolding. Betrayal's scars faded, replaced by bonds unbreakable. Dramatic fall to humanistic rise. Love's quiet triumph. In the new year, Alex pinned his first college match. Crowd roaring. Nicholas cheered loudest. Badge proud. Ethan's gallery show debuted Alex's series. Shades of coming out, portraits of fractured faces mending, including one of Nicholas, eyes soft with wonder. The stunned reaction? Not rage, but revelation. A cop's heart cracking open to let light in. In America's heartland grit, they built anew. Father loving fierce, son loving free, boyfriend weaving the thread. Human, flawed, whole. And in quiet moments, by the fire or under stars, Alex whispered to Ethan, "We made it." "Yeah," Ethan replied, kiss ceiling. "And it's just the beginning."